Hi everyone, welcome to Hiking Misadventures. This week I'm going to do a highlight video of my 2014 Appalachian Trail through hike. Four years ago, on March 17th, my friends and my cousin drove me down to Springer Mountain, Georgia, and I started on this very unlikely adventure, hiking the Appalachian Trail. Over the course of the next 6 months, I traveled through 14 states, climbed countless mountains, had a few injuries, met some great people, but most of all, really gained a deeper appreciation of my friends and home. As a fairly novice long-distance hiker, Georgia was mentally and physically tough. The weather was pretty miserable the first couple of weeks. Most nights I was so cold that I didn't get much sleep at all. But even the snow and bitter cold couldn't dampen my spirits when I finished my first state and crossed the border into North Carolina. A surprise and scary snowstorm aside, I really started enjoying the trail in North Carolina. I was getting stronger, could cover more miles at a faster pace. I was better at packing up my pack in the morning. And the highlight of my through hike was on Max Patch. I got there early on a clear and beautiful day, and I got to enjoy the view all by myself. And then that evening, I had an amazing group of hikers who were on top of Max Patch and then slept under the most beautiful star-filled sky. By the time I made it to Tennessee and the Smokies, I was a pro at hiking. I was getting better at navigating storms, and actually in the Smokies I actually had pretty good weather, except for when I climbed Clingman's Dome when I did have an ice storm. And just like that, I was in Virginia. I actually completed 32 miles to cross the border into Virginia, and that was a pretty great victory because it was the most amount of miles I had done in a day. I also had a lot of friends and family who came to visit me between Virginia and West Virginia, which was really nice because I had started falling into the Virginia blues at that point, and their visits really helped me pull out of the funk and keep on trekking. I also had a lot of encounters with animals in Virginia. I saw snakes. My first encounters with a rattlesnake was in Virginia. And then, of course, there were the wild ponies in Grayson Highlands. And yes, there is also a story of me singing Madonna's Material Girl to a bear that was standing in the middle of the trail to get it to move off my way. Yes, Pennsylvania did have those dreaded rocks that hurt my feet, but I had also started experiencing summer on the trail by this point and was learning to deal with the heat. After Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Massachusetts seemed like a breeze. A photographer working on a book about the Appalachian Trail took some professional photos of through hikers, which seemed really silly at the time, but now looking back, I'm actually glad he took the photos and that I have some nice professional pictures of me as a through hiker. New Hampshire was the state that I thoroughly enjoyed on the trail. No state offered better or more expansive and pristine views, and I could have spent long days on every one of those peaks. I also had a perfect day on top of Mount Washington. The view was clear, so I could see straight through to Canada and New York, and just had an amazing 360-degree view all around me. And it was pretty cool because by the time I left Mount Washington, I actually got the fog-socked view that Mount Washington is known for. Maine was, as promised, rugged and wild. Although I didn't think places like the Mahoosic Notch were impossibly difficult, the isolation of the trail made it seem a much more daunting task than it actually was. I'm actually not a swimmer, so fording rivers was scary to me, but I managed to do it with the help of my fellow hikers. And after hiking for months on end, I just didn't find the 100-mile wilderness as spectacular as I should have, because I think I was just tired and ready to go home. And I actually didn't see any moose on the trail. I saw the mostly eaten carcass of a dead one, but that's not as exciting as seeing a real live moose. By the time I got to Katahdin, I had developed plantar fasciitis on both feet and tendonitis on both knees, so I was pretty uncomfortable, and I was missing home too, and so I was just really ready for the trip to be over. Still, the climb up to Katahdin was bittersweet, and I was again really lucky to have this incredible weather at the top where I had amazing clear views all around me, and I had a friend who came to hike Katahdin with me, so that was nice to have, and just another reminder of how much of an important role my friends and family played in helping me get to the end of this amazing adventure. As always, if you like this video, please hit subscribe. You can now also follow me on Instagram at Hiking Misadventures and sign up for the blog at hikingmisadventures.com.